Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Battlefield Classified with me, Art, and
me, Serial.
And today what we're going to do is talk about the attack chopper and a couple of other chopper related things in Battlefield 4 and the previous Battlefield titles, and how we think this could maybe be applied to the upcoming Battlefield title that may or may not have been leaked or released before this episode is out. So starting off, I'd like to talk about the attack helicopter in Battlefield 4. Obviously my channel is based the majority of its content around it, and in my opinion it is the funnest vehicle on the game. I don't know about you if you've had much time in the chopper.
No, not in BF4, but yeah, you know me, I'm around tanks.
Yeah.
I prefer to stay grounded.
Yeah, well, I've had a mixture of them both really, both tanks and choppers, and I think the chopper on Battlefield 4, I know a lot of people will disagree with me here, but on certain maps it is an incredibly overpowered force for turning a game around from, you know, you can be down by 200-300 tickets and then win the game quite comfortably, especially on maps like Shanghai, Dawnbreaker, possibly a couple of the Final Stand maps. But I think a few things that need to really be implemented into the new Battlefield with the helicopter would revolve around the pilot having control of the heli and having less of a, I think, less power to the gunner, especially on the spawn screen when you spawn in. If somebody can take that helicopter, it's more of a first to get it takes the heli, and then the gunner just has to sit there and it is subject to whatever the pilot wants to do. I think it should be more of a team-based thing where the pilot gets to pick, the pilot picks the gunner, and I mean, you work from there. I don't know how it worked in previous Battlefield titles, but
you had to run to them. There wasn't people nowadays have it really. They have it too easy. You can just spawn in a vehicle. Back in the days, you had to know your spawns, time your spawns, because you actually had to run to the vehicle itself. This applied right up to and including Battlefield 3. So right up to then, you had to time your spawns if you wanted to get the spawn that was closest to the vehicle of your choice. Otherwise, yeah.
And I think they've done it quite well on a couple of Battlefield maps, some of the DLC ones, where the heli will spawn on a certain location on the map and is not accessible through the spawn screen. You actually have to run to it and take it yourself. I think that works quite well on a couple of the maps. I mean, it's not ideal when there's an AA gun that obviously makes half the maps useless, so render them useless for flying, but it's quite interesting to see like two teams battling it out for a flag because there's a helicopter on it or something like that. I think that is quite cool. I actually made a video, I can't remember, a month ago maybe, 2 months ago, talking about the balance in Battlefield 4 with the helis, and if you are a heli pilot you should know that the Viper is by far and away the best helicopter on the game. If you've got two identical teams coming up against each other, the Viper wins that battle 9 times out of 10. I don't know with the older Battlefields if that was the same with balance, but
you had advantages and disadvantages. But in BF3 and BF4, like almost all of the time, chopper pilots or chopper crews prefer the US version to the Russian version or Chinese version, which they called, and I quote, a flying bathtub. And
yeah, I'd have to agree with that on BF4.
So yeah, I don't remember conclusively what the advantages were to taking the Mi-28 in BF2, but there were some advantages. I think there were hit points advantages, and the Viper had maneuverability.
So fairly similar to what they've got in BF4.
Yeah, fairly similar, but there wasn't this much of a difference between them. I mean, and you also had limited amounts of projectiles, like overall.
Yeah.
You know, like even the machine gun was limited, so you had to go back, refit and rearm to the helipad.
And that's what I was going to talk about as well. If they brought that back into say you were playing a game of Shanghai or a game of Dawnbreaker, if you had to go back to base to reload your heli, it makes the game a lot better for infantry, because I know what it was like when I first started the game. If there's a heli farming a server, whether it's a scout, whether it's even a tank doing something like that, it's not enjoyable to play the game. You are forced to take a lock on or something like that, and it kind of just ruins the whole experience. So if the helicopter had to go back to the base, replenish its ammo, and then come back out and have another round.
Well, we're coming back to the BF2 system again with this. That's what you had there. Like every time you had like I don't know how much machine gun ammo you had, like maybe 250 or something, and 8 TV missiles. You didn't have all this Zuni bullshit or you just had normal rockets. You didn't have a loadout. You had what was given and that's it. But you had a definite limitation on the amount of projectiles that you had to use, and then you had to go back to base. Then in BF3 they went all out and no limitations. Everybody has everything. Fuck it. Do what you will, you know? And in BF4 they kind of did a hybrid where you are limited but aren't limited, where the ammo magically spawns from somewhere or replenishes, which I think is stupid, but I don't know. The best system, in my opinion, was the BF2 one. When the chopper had to fly back to replenish its ammo, you know, the other team got some breathing room and they can maneuver, they can redeploy. They know, okay, we got a shit chopper crew shitting on us. Okay, let's take him down next time he comes. You know, it gave him some breathing room. But now,
I'd agree with that. I mean, that setup would even be a little more beneficial for the pilot and the gunner, because you have more of it's kind of a mission to undertake every time. So you come back, you replenish your ammo, you go back out, you do your job, you come back. And now it's kind of, with Shanghai, it's the same game.
You stay behind a building and pop up.
Yeah, it's the same game every time. Like you can look through my battle reports, the ones I favorited. It's always the same. Gunner finishes top, pilot finishes second, and then everyone else on the other team has a miserable score.
Really? Gunner finishes top? Well, yeah, that's kind of obvious.
Yeah,
with
so like I've got one.
Inverted.
Yeah, obviously the tank, the guy driving the tank takes the kills, but with this battle report I've got here, Gunner 176 for 2, and then pilot 94 for 2, and that was a good game for the pilot as well. So I think they have to remedy that situation somehow, maybe give the pilot a little more power, and I'm not sure how they do it, but the pilot is...
I don't think they can. That's not his role. The pilot's role is to pilot, you know. I think they should definitely increase the damage that normal rockets from the rocket pods do against vehicles. I mean, that would give the pilot more purpose against the vehicles, you know.
Or just increase the points, like, so say I get a kill, the pilot gets some of the kills for that, because I don't know if you've come up against, well, you will have come up against heli teams against you in a tank.
Yeah,
you can kill a tank in one strafe. There's no issue with that. Even with APS now, it's down to what, 2.5 seconds. You can still take out a tank.
Yeah.
So I think increasing damage might be a bit difficult, but yeah.
You know what I don't like with this? Like, so you can kill me in 2.5 seconds. Well, GG for you. Why do I have to shoot more into the chopper? If I land a 120mm shell in your chopper, you're disintegrated. Why?
It has to be one-shot kill, a tank shot.
Has to be. Keep moving? You know?
And you can seat switch, extinguisher, and off you go.
That's complete bullshit. Like a good team, like I've seen you guys seat switch in midair, and I'm sorry, if I land a shot on you, that means you didn't do your job well enough, and you should be dead.
Yeah, definitely.
You should be dead. I mean, that's the way it was in BF2 and BF3 and Bad Company 2. Why is it made to be so easy for these people, you know? It was so hard, but at the same time, certain aspects of the game were easier. Like you could down a chopper with one TV, or you could actually, and this is what most people don't know, you could actually kill a tank with one TV shot. It was made for tanks. APCs doesn't matter. You could kill something with one TV shot. That's all it took. You didn't have to worry about reactive or APS or all this bullshit. Or like, remember in BF4 when you had to shoot and hit 3 TVs on a chopper to get him down? It's so stupid. What is that?
I mean, a TV missile is difficult to hit if you are against a pilot who knows how to dodge, because the TV isn't as reactive as the chopper. So
you think that's difficult?
Well,
the TV in BF4. Do you know another thing that people might not know, especially on your channel, since it's based on choppers? Do you know how you used to aim the TV?
not a clue. Which
in BF2,
game was this in?
BF2.
No.
You
How
had,
is it?
So you had your normal crosshair, and you imagine you had to click, 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 like that, you know, like click, 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 like where you want it to go, you know. So
Really?
yeah, so the amount of clicks that you did in BF2 actually made the missile go. You didn't have your mouse axis to help you. No, you didn't have your mouse axis. The TV shot straight, and then you clicked where you wanted it to go. And there were people that just spammed click. And after a while, somebody realized, after a couple of years, somebody realized you could macro that shit, and people started doing it with a scroll button. You know, they just moved the mouse where they wanted it and then scroll, and it gave them 100 or 200 clicks in that position, you know, like click, 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 like right there. But right now, where you have to just drag your mouse cursor and it goes there, that's, again, people nowadays are spoiled.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Know?
Against a tank or something, you can't really miss a TV missile. But it is fun.
Yeah.
In like 2v2 battles, it's quite skillful to hit one, but then a tow missile on the heli takes it to the next level because they are incredibly difficult to hit on helis.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. To be fairly honest, I mean, I don't like the way that choppers have gone. I think they were much more fun in BF2 and BF3. I mean, even in BF3 you had 2v2 tournaments, and the choppers meant a lot, especially on air maps. Now it's kind of bullshit. And you could also do barrel rolls and loop-de-loops, and it was just more fun to play. Now
you can do the loop-de-loops and stuff now, but they brought that back in because it wasn't in there on release. But
yeah, I know, but it took them too long. That's the point.
Yeah.
Should have been, they should have known that. But oh well, you know. So,
and then with the transports as well.
Yeah.
They got to do something about those things because they are. It's a wasted opportunity, that having a transport that just goes to the tallest tower, drops off some infantry, and then gives the attack heli pilot some free kills.
Yeah, because... I know. But like having certain countermeasures like rocket pods or something would be a nice addition. And, you know.
Or making them a lot stronger as well. Make them able to take more than one magazine of. So, like, say I've got the 30 mils on a helicopter,
yep.
I can take out a transport helicopter just with those and get myself 5 kills, which is quite overpowered. I think 5 kills for 30 bullets. So yeah, I think maybe balancing the transport vehicles in general, not just the transport helicopter, but all of them. They did recently buff the rib boat. I say recently, the last patch, they buffed the rib boat a bit, and it makes it a bit fairer because you don't ever want to spawn in an MRAP or a quad bike or a transport helicopter.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't really be like that.
One thing, and this is gonna be like a a kind of a closing thing for me. You do realize that if BF5 is World War II or World War I theme, your choppers are gone.
Yep. I know that.
So...
I've been honing my infantry skills the last couple of months, so I won't run out of content.
Yeah. Better practice those bold rifles, boy!
Yeah. Well, next episode we're going to talk about tanks, I think. Maybe. I don't know. We'll talk about something, but it's going to be on your channel, so people need to make sure they go over to that channel. I'll link everything on screen now. The previous video, other videos that we've done in the past, the channel, where to subscribe, all that stuff, so make sure you click on it and check it out.
So go over there, subscribe, you know, leave a hate comment or two, something, anything. If you watch my killstreak vids, you'll probably want to leave a hate comment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. This has been me, Art, and
me, Serial, signing out.
See you later, guys.